Life does not get better by chance, it gets better by design. Welcome to Design to Win with Jamaican entrepreneur and your Design to Win coach, Kamika Ruth Taylor. This show brings to you Caribbean stories, life strategies, and secrets to win at life. And now, here's your host.
Hello, Wagwan. Welcome to the first episode of Design to Win. I'm your host, Ruth Taylor, and this is a show where we give you the roadmap to win at life with a little Caribbean flavor. Coming up in today's show is the story behind the show and the name Design to Win. I'll also be sharing with you what you can expect in future Design to Win episodes. So stay tuned. It's story time. In the Caribbean, we love telling stories. I remember growing up in the country. I'm a country girl from the rural parish of St. Mary. And for a long time, we did not have electricity. So our entertainment was mostly telling stories before we went to our bed. And of course, my grandmother would always be telling us dopey stories. And for a long time, because of those dopey stories, I was not able to sleep in the dark. But today we're not going to be telling any dopey stories. I'm going to be telling you the story behind the show, Design to Win. It all began 10 years ago in the year 2010. I was engaged to be married for the first time, and this should have been my winning season. However, it did not feel like I was winning. I found myself in a funk and I felt stuck and I felt myself slipping back into depression. Then one night, as I searched the internet, because that's one of my favorite things to do, to surf the internet, I was exploring and going through YouTube when I met upon a speaker whose powerful words changed my life forever. And he is one of the world's greatest speakers, well renowned. His name is Les Brown, and he was speaking at the Georgia Dome to about 80,000 people. And the title of that video that I watched was, "It's Not Over Until I Win." And as I watched Les Brown speak, hope began to fill my heart. And I believed in that moment that yes, it was possible for things to change, and that no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. I believed in that moment that I would make it, and that whatever my dreams were, that it would be possible. A couple of days later, as I listened to Les Brown again, he talked about the fact that toxic relationships can ruin your life. And after listening to Les Brown, I made the decision that the relationship that I was in was not serving me well, and that the best thing to do would be to end that relationship. It was a difficult decision, but that decision set me on a path to win and set me in a new direction. Shortly after finding Les Brown, I found another motivational speaker and business philosopher. His name is Jim Rohn. Now, Jim Rohn is no longer alive, but I remember listening to him, and he said things like, "It is not the wind that blows, but the set of the sails." So it's not what happens to you in life that makes the difference, is how you respond to it. And then the understanding of design began to emerge as I listened to Jim Rohn. He said, you cannot change destination overnight, but you can change direction immediately. And in one of his speeches, he said, here's a good question to ask yourself. 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. The question is where? In 10 years, you'll arrive at either a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. We don't want to kid ourselves about where. We don't want to kid ourselves about the road we're walking. Now's the time to fix the next 10 years. And here's what you don't want to engage in: delusion, hoping without acting, wishing without doing. The key is to take a look and say, where am I? What could I do to make the changes to make sure that I can take more certain steps daily towards the treasure that I want? The mental treasure, the personal treasure, the spiritual treasure, or the financial treasure. So in that statement, Rohn spoke about arriving at either a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. And as he spoke to his audience, he said, wouldn't it be better to arrive at a well-designed destination? And that got me thinking, how could I change my life? How could I set a better sail so that I would end up at a well-designed destination rather than an undesigned destination? Design thinking is not new. It is very popular. Some of the world's leading brands such as Apple, Google, Samsung have rapidly adopted design thinking. Design thinking is being taught at leading universities around the world, including Stanford, Harvard, and MIT. However, life change by design is a little bit different, or the concept of life change by design, as I have understood it in the past 10 years, is a little bit different. It's about thinking and acting like a designer. And the whole concept of design to win is based on the fact that though God has made us, God has not wired us to lose. He has wired and created all his creatures to become successful, but success is not the fruit of accident. So when we talk about design to win, it's both a verb and a noun. It is a call to intentionally plan for your success. It is a picture, a plan, and a path to move from where you are to where you need to be so that you can accomplish all the things that God has created you to accomplish in your lifetime, however long or short that is. And it's also about holistic thinking and planning, because for a long time in my own life, I focused on educational goals and I focused on my spiritual goals, and I neglected some of the other areas of my life, such as my emotional well-being. I neglected the financial and the material, and that ended up affecting me adversely. So even though I was soaring in a couple of areas, there were other areas that, because of neglect, that I wasn't winning in these areas. So I started picturing, like a designer, what could I become? What could I do? What is the outcome that I would want for my life in the next 10 years? And how could I take the steps to get there? And in that process, I discovered a path to progress, a path to achieve my goals, and eventually I started practicing them and I started teaching them, and I started getting great results. And after about 5 years, or was it 8 years? 8 years, in 2018, I finally chronicles those principles in a book called Design to Win Roadmap. And you can visit my website, design2winacademy.com, and get a free gift copy of this book, Design to Win Roadmap. And the more I thought about design and God's design for life, I was led to Genesis chapter 1 and 2, and there I saw, what is the ultimate design for life. I began to see the picture of what God created us to be, and I recognized that all that we are striving for as human beings, we are looking for abundance, we want a home, we want harmonious relationships, that these were all part of the original design. And so what we have been doing throughout our lives is to recreate Eden and to create a sphere that each of us can become the expert in. And because in the beginning, when God made us, He made us to be like Him, and He is a creator. And so He's given us these gifts and abilities. And when we look at how God created the universe, there is a process and a kind of formula that if we can decode that, we will see ourselves achieving more and finding fulfillment. And so Design to Win, as I said, is a picture. It is a plan. We need to put together that action plan, and it is a path to move from where you are to where you need to be. And on this program, you're going to be getting some stories that will help you to win. You're going to be getting some life strategies and secrets to help you to win in all areas of your life, in your career and business, your faith and finances, your emotional health and well-being. We want to talk about your mindset. We want to look at your family and friendships and encourage you to fulfill the purpose of which God has placed you on this earth to fulfill. And in so doing, we believe that you will be on the path to winning, but you have to be intentional about it. So we are going to get into the next segment, which is what can you expect in future Design to Win episodes. So stay tuned. The first thing is that in future Design to Win episodes, you're going to hear some Caribbean stories, because we said we're going to give it a roadmap to win at life with a little Caribbean flavor. So in my quest to highlight Caribbean people doing extraordinary things, I found a website called the Caribbean Hall of Fame. It's an information resource site that lists some of the successful actors, authors, artists, athletes, singers, musicians, leaders in government officials, and other great people from the West Indies. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to interview all these people and hear about their secrets to win at life? Now, when I looked at this list, this Caribbean Hall of Fame lists extraordinary people from 14 different Caribbean islands, include Jamaica, the British Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, Haiti, Grenada, and other Caribbean islands. So these Caribbean extraordinaires include persons like Jamaica's Marcus Garvey, Bob Marley, and not surprisingly, two of the top athletes from Jamaica, Usain St. Leo Bolt and Shellyan Fraser Price. Others included on that list were Derek Walcott from St. Lucia, Garfield Sobers from Barbados, Archibald Bolden and Kwame Ture from Trinidad, Wycliffe John and Michael Martelli from Haiti, and Chedi Jagan from Guyana. On that list is a mix of people. Some are deceased and some are still alive. However, I thought not all Caribbean extraordinaires are famous. There are among us and in the diaspora, because this show is aiming to reach Caribbean persons in the diaspora, there are many people doing extraordinary things that go unnoticed and their stories are not being told. So I want to bring you untold stories of Caribbean people who are winning, who are agents of transformation, who are creating an impact in different fields, whether they be authors, singers, persons who have overcome poverty, started their own businesses. Because we need to see the heroes around us. For far too long, our heroes have been persons from farther afield. And these are amazing persons like Nelson Mandela, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama. and I started telling you about how Les Brown impacted me. But these persons are not necessarily Caribbean persons. And we want to showcase to the next generation that, listen, you can find role models around you from the Caribbean and they can inspire to greatness, just like Nelson Mandela, just like he was recently added to the billionaire list, just like Tyler Perry, who recently was added to the billionaire list. So on this program, we're going to showcase these agents of transformation from the Caribbean and the diaspora who are making a difference in the region, in the diaspora and beyond. And if you know of persons in the Caribbean, in your spheres of influence, who are doing extraordinary things, and you want their stories told, then you can contact me. You can contact me. Send me an email at ruthtaylor@extramileja.com. That's ruthtaylor@extramileja.com. And I'll be happy to bring them on the program. So we're going to have some interviews and some Caribbean stories showcasing Caribbean excellence and persons who are winning in the Caribbean. And then we're going to have a solo show, which is an audio masterclass, if you will, to give you some strategies to win in your life. I am a career coach. I was a missionary. I am a trained educator. I was trained at Michael Teachers College, now University College, as a general science teacher and Spanish teacher. And later I did a degree. I did my master's in theology with a focus on intercultural studies, and currently I'm doing my doctorate in transformational leadership. So as you can see, I have always been kind of like an integrationist. So I blend the science, I blend social sciences with the arts and with theology. So what you're going to get as I teach the Design to Win in this audio master class, you're going to get all of that as a career coach, a personal development specialist, as a teacher, as a theologian. So you're going to get practical strategies and secrets to win at life that will be biblically based on psychology, based on scientific studies, and it will be an integrated approach to help you to walk in your divine destiny, to help you to move from where you are to where you need to be. Because where you are now is not necessarily an indication of where God wants to take you. You know, when I just started doing the Design to Win program and I went around to school speaking, I used to use this purple cloth because one of the ways God speaks to me is through images in nature and the things around me. And I remember having this purple cloth and it was sitting at the bottom of my laundry basket for a long time. Now, we know that purple represents value and royalty, and this material was once used to decorate the boardroom of my workplace. And when I resigned from that workplace and the materials were taken down, I held on to this piece of purple cloth. Now, this piece of purple cloth was at the bottom of my laundry basket, almost like a marker doing nothing. And then one of my best friends was getting married, and she was getting married to a young man from Kingston College. Now, Jamaicans, you know, Kingston College is represented by purple. Fortis, all the Fortis people, you can give this program a like and share it. In any case, all of a sudden, this purple cloth found use. I said, you know what? Since I'm in charge of the bridal shower and my friend is getting married to a KC man, I need to use some purple in the decor. So all of a sudden, this cloth that was at the bottom of the basket moved from the bottom to the top and was transformed into an essential piece of the decor for that occasion. And I thought that was just it. But then God began to speak to me through this cloth. And he said, if you look at this cloth through the eyes of a designer, how much is this cloth really worth? And he took me back to Acts chapter 16 with a lady by the name of Lydia, who was a seller of purple cloth. And I was like, why is she selling purple cloth and not red cloth, not white cloth? And then I looked at the history of purple cloth and the significance that, you know, only because of how they came to make that the color purple, the intricate and elaborate process that it went through, it wasn't a common dye, it's not a natural dye, and so it became expensive and associated with royalty and people of influence. And it's like the Lord started showing me, if you look at this through the eye of a designer does not just look at the cloth in its current state, it sees what it can become. So when I went and started speaking, I would ask persons to look at this cloth and tell me what they see. Now, many persons look at this cloth and they were thinking, we just see a cloth, and they would tell me the things that they see on the cloth. And I said to them, how much is this cloth worth? And many would say $100, $500. Hardly anybody would say $1,000. And I said to them, when I look at this piece of purple cloth, I see at least 10,000 Jamaican dollars or 100 US. And people would look at me in shock. And then I said, I'm being serious. Now I want you to tell me how this cloth can become valuable. How can I get at least $10,000 from this material? And all of a sudden their eyes were open to see the cloth in a new light as they begin to think. Some say, okay, if Bob Marley put his signature on it, miss, it's going to be worth about $1 million. If Beyonce put her signature on it. Or some came up with songs, some came up with handkerchiefs and other things. You see, if you begin to think like a designer, you not only see yourself in the state that you're in, but you see what you can become. And I'm here to say that your current state is not necessarily an indication of what you can become. And I want you to ask God to give you the eyes of a designer to see the picture of what he sees, so that you can be transformed into that picture and become more than you are now. And so that purple cloth has become a symbol of inspiration. It went as far as Africa. I used it in speeches. I used it as an illustration at graduation, and I used it to teach classes. So because I was able to see the vision of what it could become, because I was able to see the design, I was able to move it from where it was to another level. And that's what we mean in design thinking. And when we do our solo shows, I'm going to be sharing more things like this to inspire you and to put you on the path to win. So we're going to be giving you some master keys or Design to Win master keys for your success. And we also have a Design to Win pledge. This is a blend of what I saw in that Les Brown video that has inspired me, and Les Brown's own story and my mother's story and the story of friends of mine who were able to rise above adversity and walk in their destiny. And in times of challenge, when I feel like giving up, I go back to this pledge. And we're going to say it at the end of each program. And it says, "There's greatness in me. It's possible to live my dreams. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. With faith, courage, and consistent action, I'm going to make it. It's not over until I win." So we're going to say that pledge, and each show is going to end with that pledge. It is your affirmation that as you try to live out that picture that you see, that bigger picture, when the days get rough, you are going to return to it and say, it's not over until I win. And then I have this book called Keys to Win at Life, and there are 100 keys in there and 100 real life application and examples, 100 proverbs, 100 quotes. And so I love quotes, so you're gonna get a Design to Win quote that will also inspire and help you to win. And so the quote for today is my own. It's a reminder that life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by design. So I want you to carefully design to win. And remember, it's not over until you win. This is Ruth Taylor saying, ta for now, until next time.
You've just heard Design to Win with Kamika Ruth Taylor. Join us again next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of Design to Win.